Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. This one, P1251, it's a turbo code. We've talked about it before. I've given a bit of information here or there, but it's probably years ago, and maybe it's not on YouTube, maybe. So kind of being overlooked a little bit. So a bit of an update. So P1251, if you got your pen and paper ready, is the code. Now, just remember, with this information I give you, it doesn't mean it happens on every car or heaps of cars or it's a big problem. It just means that, you know, out of hundreds of thousands of Toyotas in Australia with 1KDs, it happens every now and then. Now this is what happens, right? So it's turbo related. So we'll go around here and have a look at the turbo. You have a bit of a sticky nose there while I explain to you what generally happens. Now, what generally happens is people will be driving along. Okay, so the first thing is, if you've got we did that video on exhaust and how good that exhaust system is and how it works really well, and basically don't touch it. So if you take that advice, that's going to be helpful, because look, it's quite often the bigger exhaust. Maybe it might be a combination of that with, you know, people have got the E-jars blocked or shut off or whatever. So that's not a problem because there's thousands of those without a problem. But when you've got the bigger exhaust, perhaps with the bigger exhaust with that, or even just the bigger exhaust, you know what I mean? So it all comes back to the exhaust, really. Okay, so don't have a bigger exhaust is probably the first tip. P1251, you know, you're driving along and you get an engine light and you're probably going to have limp mode. I haven't experienced it in our vehicles. I don't get them coming into the workshop, okay? So I get people mainly, you know, the odd text message about it. Oh, you know, I got a P, or I'm saying, yeah, what's going on? And the first thing they do is, you know, they must think of me and think to ask the question, all right? Now, basically what you do is, this is again why it's important. I keep saying it's really important that everyone's got some sort of scanner, something that can scan, read, and clear DTCs, diagnostic trouble codes, P1251, because there is people that have had this fault. Okay, look, out of the ones that contact me, I'm not going to be the guy that sells you a turbo. This is the way it works, right? So if you call me up and say, hey Anthony, you know, I've got a 2011 150 Prado with a 1KD and I've got an engine light, you know, whatever. I go, no worries, book it in. You bring the car into the Prado hospital and we plug it in and we go, yep, no worries, mate. And you know what, doesn't matter what code it is, if it's turbo related, I'm going to sell you a turbo. Oh, you quote it up, bang, you need a new turbo. We put a new turbo on, problem solved. Most of the time, you know, most of the time. That's how it works, I suppose, generally. You know, general thing, if you go to some repair workshops, some dealerships, I'll say some, not all, just to cover myself, but, you know, sell you a part, and I'm sure there's plenty of good guys out there doing the right thing, but sell you a part that gets the job done, covers the workshop because they've done the whole job, bada bing, you know what I mean? It's sort of replaced everything, but it can be expensive and unnecessary. I'm not that guy. At the end of the day, out of all the people that have contacted me with the 1251, I said, look, if it's a 1251 on its own, quite often what happens is you'll be able to clear it, right, with your auto fix 3210 or whatever it is you've decided to use. That, you know, open up the app, there it is, clear it and drive away. Problem you got is you got an engine light and it also puts you into limp mode. So, and to clear this one, some codes you can clear while you're driving. This one you've got to stop, clear it, and you've actually got to switch the engine off and on again, right? Then you'll be back to normal. It may reoccur again straight away. It might not. You might never see it again. It might reoccur in an hour. Then you might never see it again. It might reoccur in 5 days and you never see it again. So we've had all those different examples happen, okay? Of the ones that keep reoccurring straight away, there's been a number of people I said, lubricate that linkage down there, that arm. So in the middle of the picture there, you can see the DC motor there, right? You know, you can see there's a plug to it. If you look further down, we'll try and get in there. I'll move the camera. I'll try and get down there for you and show you what I'm talking about. But this has worked for a number of people. I said, look, make sure things are clean. Oh, you know, have you been full driving lately? Mud, dirt, dust, debris. See, looking down here, I mean, there's a bit of dirt around, but see how it looks pretty clean? Keeping things clean works. It's not just about, you know, I like it clean. You know, you got some staining on that. Look at that duck from the mud, the bog holes, the red mud, you know, as I said, up, you know, up out of Broome, all that red stuff. But a lot, and on the manifold, you can see it's stained the manifold, whatever. But you can see what I mean about it's generally pretty clean. You know, nearly 400,000 Ks, things are clean, right? And then not everything's going to be that clean, but keep it clean, right? So if you've got this issue, what I'd probably do is spray something like INOX CRC or something on the moving parts and see what that does. I would also then give it a clean. I don't want to leave it there because it can attract dirt and dust to it as well. But you want it to penetrate, so it's kind of like a spray, clean it, drive it, dry it, blow it dry, whatever. Look, generally works, okay? So I'm not going to tell you need a turbo just based on you've had an engine light once and a 1251 once. You might do this and you might never see it again, okay? I'm certainly not the specialist on it because I haven't seen it a lot, so I don't know 100% every time what it's going to be. When we've seen 20 or 50 or 100, we can say, okay, this is what happens, this is why it's happened, and this is what you need to do. It's not that. It's we've had a few calls, probably a few a year, lube that, and there's a lot of no news is good news. You know, you get back to me and say, how'd you go with it? Oh yeah, it was fine. I did what you said, and I haven't had any problems since. You know, and there is also other people that have it fault 2 or 3 times in a day, and it hasn't happened again for a year. So randomly it can happen. So don't panic yet. 0046 is another turbo code. Generally, if you get two together, you could have a problem with the turbo itself. There is, you know, some people sell these, you know, the DC motor here separately, whatever. Sometimes maybe if it's not sealed properly, it can get some moisture in there. So sometimes it's to do with water crossings. Maybe it's to do with washing down the engine sometimes. I've never experienced that. See the screw there? You can, you know, undo that. A couple of screws, there's a few screws, I think 3, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4, and you can take that cover off. I don't do that. I'm just saying you can take that off. It may be wet, it may be dirty, corroded, damaged. You may need to replace it, you may not. Sometimes people just go ahead and replace those, spend a few $100 and it fixes the problem. But did you ever think that might not have been the problem? It might have been the linkage, because there's quite a few people that have success by checking, cleaning that linkage. Now, what do I mean? Well, you can't see it from here, so let's go down over the side here and see if we can go in here and see if we can see what we're talking about. It is pretty difficult to get in there and see, but I'm gonna try. Right, see that arm there? Right, see where it goes up, connects to the motor there. Doing pretty well to get it in there, aren't I? The top end's probably okay because it's clean, but see the bottom end where it goes into the turbo? Right, I know I'm not. I don't know if I'm showing you much, but there's not much to see here because this one's never played up. Is that because it's clean? It gets kept clean and mud equals money, staying out of the mud? I don't know, but look, see that bottom linkage there? That's the main one. Spray some INOX or something on there, right? INOX is probably the product, you know. You can get to it, best get to it from here, you know, with the spray extension thing, you know, into there. And look, this is one of those ones where it's probably good if we do get some comments on this one, because it's really quite rare. When I say rare, you know, it's a small percentage, definitely under 1%, probably less than 0.01%. Not enough numbers to even monitor. Certainly a lot more alternators fail than turbos and turbo codes, in my opinion. So look, let's say like we usually do, if you think this information on the P1251's earned your subscription, please subscribe, turn the bell on so you get the next most important bit of information. Let's work as a team and try and help each other out with those comments in a positive way, and share some information and say, look, I had a P1251, it only happened once, I cleared it, it was okay, or I did the cleaning or lubricating thing, tell us what you used. Everybody can see the comment there, it's all helpful to everyone. And like always, so if it's been helpful, give us a thumbs up. I haven't got a lot more for you than that, really. Yeah, if you've got a 0046 at the same time, there's a good chance. Look, at the end of the day, when it comes to turbos, if you keep getting codes, and look, I don't know whether you go and do that motor first. You really need to, there's some tests you can do. It's back to the books, back to the workshop manual to follow those tests, to test components and make sure it's working right. But sometimes what happens is, you know, it's a variable vane turbo. There's moving parts in there. You've got exhaust gases. This is the other thing I suppose you think about, you know. When you replace your injectors, it's not just for the sake of replacing injectors, you know. It's not just, oh, you know, maybe you believe it's going to help, you know, not crack a piston, and I believe that. It's a leading contributor. It's well documented by Toyota that wrong combustion, worn injectors are a big contributor. Also the chips and tunes and that. But so it's not just about that prevention. It's not just about it running clean, which is better for the environment. It's better for our health. It's better for the efficiency of the engine, so you'll use less fuel, that it runs cleaner, and it's better for, you know, it's just better. It's better in every way, because the cleaner it runs, that means with your EGR system, less soot you're going to have in your intake because it's running cleaner, better burn, you know what I mean? Old flogged injectors, they're going to put more soot and crap through your engine with that exhaust gas recirculation, because what goes out your exhaust, that's what goes through your engine, right? Same thing, it's going through your turbo as well. So there's so many things that the maintenance and the preventive maintenance and these things do, you know, and replacing injectors is part of preventive maintenance. It's just not in the book, okay? Well, there's a number of things that aren't in, there's things in the book that you don't need to do, and there's things in the book that you do need to do based on experience. So if you don't know what they are, you need to go back and watch all, as I said, it's like a big, massive million-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you've only got a few hundred pieces at the moment, okay? Once you've got a few thousand pieces, and I'm working on it for you, you'll hopefully get a better picture, all right? That's about all I've got for you on the P1251. Lube that linkage. Let us know how you go. If you have the problem and you've Googled and you found this video, and you've gone and cleaned it, lubed it, or got it moving, it was a bit stuck, I got it moving again, and the INOX did the job, come back and say, awesome, this worked for me. Let everybody else know what works and what doesn't. You know, if I'm full of it, I'm dreaming, it didn't do anything, let us know. Just say it nicely though, otherwise your comment won't go up. You know, it's all about, you know, trying to help each other out. Let's be positive. If you got anything negative or something you want to carry on, go do it somewhere else. We're not interested. All right, guys. Bada bing, hopefully not bada boom. See ya.